Hello and welcome to Or to Know Better's post-match chat called Berardi+Coke. My name is Karl. I'm joined by Andrew Stats Dalton. How are you doing, Stats?
I've been better. It's
Mm.
getting to the squeaky bum time of the season. I'm sure getting into all that. But yeah, disappointing afternoon in North London, shall we say.
Yeah. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of all that now in a second, and we'll be back in 2 minutes, folks.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
Well, Stats, we seem like we're a very long way from discussing what Rads can do to improve the South Stand catering facilities to where we are right now. I'm not going to lie, that wasn't the most enjoyable game I ever watched in my life. I thought, let's be honest, I didn't think Arsenal were all that good. Are we any better than Wolves, having staved off, getting hammered by more from a winning position? I don't know.
I think I'm going to look at it. I'm going to try and be a little bit positive. Because I know it's a little bit doom and gloom around Leeds United at the moment, and I think the way I look at it is we have three games: Man City last week, Arsenal today, and then Chelsea on Wednesday night. It's a huge game. They're the games we're not going to pick up points. We don't expect to pick up points to stay in the Premier League. However, the situation has now become quite serious, and we're in the bottom three obviously this evening on goal difference, and we just have to match Burnley's results. So it might go to the last day of the season. I think Burnley have got 2 away games, Leeds have got 2 home games before Burnley finish at home to Newcastle, and Leeds finished down at Brentford in London, which we all know don't have a good record in London. As for today, buddy, you can't give a team a 2-0 head start. I know we did it against Wolves and we came back, and it will be the return of the X-Men at the Nketiah, who got a great reception by the sounds of it from Leeds fans. The red card, what can you say? I'm just surprised, and I think Luke will know that it wasn't given as a red card straight away, and unfortunately we lost Bill for the last 3 games of the season. But I thought we showed some spirit second half down to 10 men, Cal. I really did. I thought we gave it a go, and on another day, who knows, I might nicked a point, which would have been completely undeserved. But it's not over. We've still got 3 games to go, 3 absolutely massive games to go. As of Burnley, Everton have got 4. Everton have got a great victory at Leicester City this afternoon. But yeah, which kind of knocks the stuffing out of you, isn't it? You can kind of sense that would happen. And it's now up to Jesse Marsh to lift the players. The fans will be there in the numbers, I'm certain, on Wednesday night to resume rivalries with Chelsea. And let's see, it's 14 days till the end of the season, and see where we end up at.
Yeah, going on what you were saying there, Stats, about the second half performance being a lot better than the first. Like I agree with you on that. It was like we could have lost by a lot more than one goal, but without the Meslier mess up, I don't. Like, Arsenal didn't look like they were going to score a hatful against us in the second half, which they probably should have.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, the positives are there. We have to take some positives from a game where we've lost and we're literally in the shit at the moment. But I don't think Arsenal were all that today. I genuinely thought they could have, like, if they did what we did to Wolves, that would have been expected. But for us to only lose by a goal and then the fuck up was what it was like. But
and I think aside challenging for the Champions League, should be going for full throttle, in my opinion. Probably should have got 5, 6 or 7, and they didn't. And Leeds made a game of it in the last 15, 20 minutes, and Llorente scored. And who knows, if Rodrigo had been a little taller, he might have got a header, I think, for third post knockdown. So, look, I think from my perspective, I'd rather jump into the bottom 3 now than the last day of the season when it's too late.
Yeah,
we've still got 3 games of football to play. And for all the doom and gloom merchants, and I've seen a lot of them all over social media and what have you. God, it looks like I've got a black eye on that side, doesn't it?
It's your lighting stats, man. We keep telling you.
For all the doom and gloom, the whistle's not blown on the last game of the season yet. It's where we are in 2 weeks' time. against Brentford, the Brentford Community Stadium in a fortnight's time on what, the 22nd of May, that's when it'll matter. At the moment, the music's not stopped. We're still playing musical chairs, and we've still got an opportunity to stay in the Premier League. And yeah, it's been a disappointing season. There's no getting away from that. It's been a tough season for all concerned. However, the aim this year was always to stay in the Premier League, and by hook or by crook, if we stay in the Premier League, then next year you can build and hope not to be in the position again. But yeah, as for Arsenal, I didn't think they were great. I think they probably will finish fourth because of the points are on Tottenham's position and what have you. But yeah, just frustrating more than anything, isn't it? Because it was just like we're chasing shadows when you're 2-0 down with 10 men. And to be fair, one positive I do want to say, I thought Lewis Bate was superb when he came on, and I gave him a man of the match in my match report. So look, it's not over. There's 3 games to go. Let's see where we are this time next week when we've got 1 game to go. Burnley have got Tottenham and Villa again, and Leeds have got 2 massive home games against Chelsea and Brighton. Look, they're not going to be easy. I know that. I accept that. We've got to get a raucous Ellen Road behind us, get 30,000 behind us on Wednesday night. And I don't even think Chelsea can bring any away fans, to be honest with you. So
yeah, there was extra tickets on the website there last week, so they're not allowed to sell anything.
As I say, it's not all doom and gloom. I'd rather jump in the bottom 3 today, and then in 2 weeks' time, jump out of it all being well. Who knows? It's still in our hands, Karl. That's the thing, isn't it? It is still in our hands. And there's 3 massive games of football to come before the fat lady sings.
Looking at today's result, do you think it's between us and Burnley now? Do you think Everton have the momentum, do you?
Yeah, I think Everton have picked up 2 big wins over the last 2 games against Chelsea and also Leicester City. So I has a feeling they beat Leicester today. Leicester City side obviously played in Rome on Thursday night, and I felt Everton will get a result. I think the best way to put it is that Burnley lost at home to Aston Villa, because had Burnley beaten Villa yesterday, I think the situation would have been looking precarious, because then you would have needed at least 4 points from the next 3 games to stay in the league. So yeah, I think it's between us and Burnley. I think Everton will be okay now. And let's see. This is what you're in football for. These big games. These are the games that obviously you don't want to be at the wrong end of the table, obviously. Yeah. But this is why we watch the game. There's going to be nerves shaking, I'm sure, between now and the Brentford game in a fortnight's time, buddy. But yeah, I do believe it's between us and Clarets, and we just have to match their results. And you never know, we might end up finishing 17th, which obviously isn't great, but it keeps you in the Premier League.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. I did say at the start, I unrealistically gave us a 4th place finish going on last year, but realistically, I was looking at it and just thinking I'd take 17th. Honestly, I genuinely just take 17th, just to kind of stay in the league and then build from there. There's a lot of responsibility for what's happened over this season has to sit with the board. We'll get into that on another pod at some point, I'm sure, but there can't be any blame put at the feet of any particular individual from the coaching staff and players as to what we've had so far this season. It's regardless of whether Bielsa wanted a small, tight-knit squad or not, we don't know that, and that's what they're telling us. It's like he may not have wanted that, but anyway, that is what it is.
I think the time for reflection will be at the end of the Brentford game, when we know what league we're in August next season, and they'll do a full review, a route review. I'm absolutely certain, because that's what every football club does at the end of each season, and learn from what's gone wrong. And it'll be a very interesting summer to see what league we're in and what happens sort of off the field and on the field. But I think that's for another day. But can't stand that Thomas Frank. Don't want it to. There's still a bit of lingering, isn't there, with Thomas Frank and Leeds and what have you from a couple of years ago. And obviously, Pontus Jansson now, Alisson plays for Brentford, the 100th game yesterday, actually, for Brentford, and scored in the victory over Southampton. It won't be an easy game down there. We know that we've got a good home record. They'll be desperate to get one over on us. It's the 2 home games which are going to be absolutely key. But it's only if Neos have gone back from in our own hands to it's kind of still in our own hands, though, isn't it? Because all we have to do is match what Burnley do, and if we win a game, then Burnley have got to win a game. And I think what's interesting is I think we play before Burnley next weekend when we play Brighton. I think I want to say they've got Villa again. So go on.
Do you think with the click coming off today that leaves a kind of bait to go in there? Do you think is he going to be selected against Chelsea?
It's tough, isn't it? Because it's the question: do you throw him in such a cauldron and such an atmosphere next Wednesday night? And obviously, we all know the rivals against Chelsea. To me, I don't see why not. He's a young kid. I think it's different though, isn't it? Because the pressure's off a bit when you're 2-0 down and down to 10 men. The pressure on Wednesday night will be absolutely massive, and we need massive hearts and really go for it. And do we throw him in? I think we might have to. The big question for me, Karl, is who plays right back? Because obviously it looks like Kenny Drama can't be recalled until the end of from what I understand, he can't be recalled to the end of the championship season, which is the playoffs at the end of May.
Right.
So I'm led to believe, anyway, I could be wrong on that one. If anyone does know, do get involved below. It's going to be an interesting team, and we just have to hope that Coops is fit on Wednesday night.
I was just going to say that. Do you think he kind of held off on playing Cooper today, knowing that Arsenal was kind of, I hate the phrase, but kind of like a free hit, where Chelsea, the last three are far more. I think the way Chelsea are playing at the moment, I think Chelsea is a far more winnable game than Arsenal was today.
I think there's a few factors to consider here. Chelsea have hit a bit of a blip under Thomas Tuchel. They threw away a 2-0 lead, didn't they? Wolves lost to Everton the other week as well, so they're not in the greatest of form. And they've got an FA Cup final the following weekend. This coming Saturday, in between our game.
It could be a good time to play them.
It could be a great time to play them. It'd be amazing to see the team sheets at 6:30 on Wednesday night. Of course, it's 7:30 kickoff on Wednesday night against the Blues. So, it's hard to know how Thomas Tuchel's going to go on this game. We'll have an eye on the FA Cup final. They obviously want to finish third. They've got Arsenal breathing down their necks. It's not going to be an easy game, whatever players Chelsea play. They've still got a lot in reserve. Like Lukaku came on and scored 2 goals yesterday. So, and he can be pretty much unplayable. The one positive I will say is we have got a very, very good record at home to Chelsea in the Premier League. We've only lost, I think, once in the Premier League against Chelsea, twice, should I say, in, I'm going to say, in 15 attempts in the top flight. And that was 9-4-5 and 99-2000. So we've got a decent record against Chelsea. They don't like coming down south, so to speak, or no, should I say? The atmosphere, I can see Alison saying there, looked unreal, always is with the Leeds fans. They have to get a result on Wednesday night, because if they don't, Burnley then play Tottenham. I think I'm just looking at the fixtures. Burnley play Tottenham on the 15th as well. I think the same time as we play Brentford. Sorry, we play Brighton, so it's going to be nerve shedding, I'm sure, next weekend at Ellen Road.
Yeah,
we've got to grasp this opportunity. We're not dead. The results, haven't gone our way with Everton, certainly have with Burnley, but then again, we never expected Burnley to claw back the gap. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be not for the faint-hearted, I'm sure, but let's see what team we put out, and let's see what Jesse's got to say in the press conference on Tuesday. Hopefully, Coops will be fit, and I don't know what you're doing. Another elephant in the room is Patrick Bamford.
That was my next question. Yeah.
How fit he is, and I know he did an interview with Football Focus, didn't he, the other week, prior to the Watford game, saying, if needed, I'll throw myself into the Brighton and Brentford game. The problem is, how much fit is he going to be? There's no more 23s games this season, and
the other thing is, do you risk him getting a serious injury just before the summer, where his recuperation could be put to 100%?
Well, that's
this is the swings and roundabouts. I think if Luke Ayling doesn't get sent off today, Joffrey doesn't get taken off, and I think Joffrey has more of an opportunity to bully that back four for Arsenal today. I thought they were quite vulnerable in spells where we got because they pushed quite high and there was space in between their back four and their first section of the defensive midfield line.
Yeah,
and we did catch them out quite a bit in there today. If we had that extra player in there, who's to say that Joffrey wasn't going to absolutely intimidate those centre backs today? I don't think they played very well at all, considering A, they were up against Dan James for a large portion of the game, and B, they were up against Rodrigo for the second half.
And unfortunately, your game plan goes out the window, doesn't it? Once you're a player sent off and you've got to sacrifice someone, which is a bit unfair on Joff. You have to sacrifice somebody, and I think it was a case of damage limitation. And I think, to be fair to Jesse, that's quite clever in a way, because our goal difference didn't really suffer in the end. It could have been 5, 6 or 7, and anyone lost by 1 goal, and we only lost 1 on the goal difference. So, I'm interested to see the team. I'd expect Joffrey to start against Chelsea on Wednesday night.
I think so.
right back will be the big question. Do you go Shackleton, who's not playing much recently? So
who else do you put in there, man? We're not spoiled for choice at the moment.
No,
I've got a point here from Charlie. Now I've got a thing in my way. I can't read the whole thing. To win games, we need to score goals. Time to go back to Bielsa way of attacking. If we go down fighting. I don't think it's the lack of fight, Charlie, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, man. There is fight there. It's just the formation that we're playing. Like I've mentioned it on here before, that Scum play the same formation and they've got a team of absolute, well, apparently world superstars, and they still can't play this kind of formation. So where does that leave us as a squad if we see like another team with £1 billion fucking squad and they can't play this formation? Like, what are we meant to do? Like, there is a lot of going at it and attacking. It's just the final ball isn't there. We're too narrow, and you can see us. Obviously, what Charlie said there, we do kind of naturally revert to going out wide in the Bielsa style in parts. Like, but we can't. There's no way of just going back to the Bielsa way of playing ball. We have to just persevere with what we're doing at the moment. Like I've said before as well, and I think we've had a chat about it, where this style of football won't keep us up next year.
Well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? I know it's a topic for another debate for another day, because we don't know what league we're going to be in. But what we do have to make sure is if we do stay up and touch wood, we will do. We can't be in this position next season. And I think that's where the summer is going to be absolutely key, whether the 49ers do take over the football club from Radrizzani and what have you. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting 2 weeks, basically. I'm sure it's going to be a few sleepless nights for a lot of Leeds fans up and down the country and around the world. And what have you. But we've just got to remain positive. It's not done yet. As I keep saying, we're 18th. We've still got 3 games to go. We're only 18th on goal difference. We're not 18th on points. If we're 18th and 3 points behind, I think then it'd probably be game over and good night Vienna. There is still points to play for. Chelsea are going to come to the road, raucous crowd on Wednesday night. And let's go for it. We've just got to win the game. We can't sit back. We've just got to go and try and beat Chelsea at their own game. We came very close back in December. Only I think a lucky penalty last kick of the game, won the MAC game. So yeah, hey, look, it's difficult to comprehend at times that we've dumped into the bottom 3. Good shout, Pascal. A left back. Then you take Firpo out. I thought Firpo did all right, to be fair today. I don't think.
I was going to say personally, I'd have put Pascal in there at left back today.
Yeah,
especially with Firpo only having come back from injury for quite soon.
Yeah,
and his last 2 games, he's been okay, but he hasn't proved all season that he's worthy of the first choice, regardless of if he's fit or whatever. I think if Pascal is a more established first team player and he's plays quite well at left back and he actually has a left foot, I think that's a no brainer for me. And I think Dicko is right with what he's saying there. What I was happy today with, I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but I was delighted to see Bate and Phillips in the midfield. Because as a rotating pivot for the two, well, they didn't do it too much, obviously, because we had the man down, but you could see how it would work in there, right? Because you've got Phillips, who's a right-footed player, and you've got Bate, who's a left-footed player. It was the same in the World Cup for England. Declan Rice, a predominantly left-footed player. Calvin's a right-footed player. Now, I know that might not seem like a big deal in the large scheme of things, but when you've got players who are more comfortable in certain positions on their stronger feet, they will progress a lot better. And I think it looked like Calvin and Bate today could have formed a good partnership moving forward.
Yeah, I agree on that.
And it's like the same thing, centre backs. You want a centre back who's got a left foot playing on the left, you want a centre back playing on the right back, or right who's got a right foot. Yeah. Same thing in midfield. You want that kind of cohesion within the 2 players that you've got in there. And I think Bate looks like he could form a good partnership. For me, personally, I don't know about anyone else. Let us know in the comments. With Phillips moving further along, as long as we stay up, obviously. And, just moving forward, I think that it's a great thing to have. I think Alison starts here. She's meant to say, "Love the optimism."
I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm trying. Yeah. It's not done. Yeah. It's not done. As I say, it's not over yet. There's 3 games of football. There's lots of twists and turns that can happen yet. We just have to go out there against Chelsea and try and get a result. Shout shut the ground down on Wednesday night as Man City score a third against Newcastle. And yeah, I think the title's going to Etihad, but hey, and just do what we do, and let's see. As I said, it's going to be an interesting lineup on Wednesday night. We've not been in this position at all. I think we dropped into the bottom three after West Ham in September, and then for a couple of hours, I think, in October without playing. However, let's see psychologically now that we're trying to haunt them down, and after being in that position where we've been fine and not been in the bottom three, we've dropped in the bottom three today, and let's try and be positive about that, and let's use that as motivation to get out of the relegation zone.
Yeah. Just a comment here from Shelley Johnson. How are you, Shelley? All right. We need to play to our strength and don't think this formation is helping the team. We need to utilise the wingers properly. 100% in agreement with you there, Shelley, but the formation that Marsh wants to play, for me and people that have spoken to as well, like yourself as well, it doesn't allow for wingers in those wide positions that we are predominantly used to playing with the players that we have. It's a very narrow formation, and it looks like any time we do end up out wide near the 18-yard box, it's by pure chance and not by design, which I think is kind of a natural thing where the players that have been there for a while are used to Bielsa ball and they will naturally drift out there. We saw at the start where we were watching the formation that Marsh wanted to play, and everyone was very narrow and we were all crying out for a bit of width. I don't think Marsh has implemented that width particularly. I think it's kind of just come as a natural thing where they're like, right, we're in this position now. We normally go out wide, whereas the previous games we were very, very narrow, very down the middle. We were trying to play within the 18-yard box, and it's just far too tight. So looking at today, it looked like we reverted to wide play organically rather than what he wanted us to do, Luke is also saying here that if we stay up and this football is what Marsh wants, we need at least 7 new players in and few let go. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Who do you feel would need to come in and who would need to... we're not going to talk about... Or sorry, not in. Who do you feel would need to go, rather? Because coming in is just a nightmare. We don't know what's going on there.
It's difficult to say because injuries have killed us this year, haven't we? We've lost the spine of the team for most of the season. You've lost your captain, Coops, for half the season. You've lost your main striker in Paddy Bamford since December. I know he came back against Wolves and then went out again. You've lost Phillips for half the season. You lost Adam Forshaw. You've lost Stuart Dallas. So I don't actually think it's kind of players have to go. I think it's more having a bigger squad in the summer to help with these injuries because they've absolutely killed us all season. And every player this season has gone off one way or another or missed a game here or there. And the only ever present to actually start every game is Almilia. And that's a goalkeeper. And you kind of expect that with a goalkeeper. Okay, he went off injured against Wolves as well. So, yeah, it's hard to know who's to come in and who's to go out because I think for me, I just want to look at this season and without thinking too far ahead and thinking of what league we're going to be in next season. I'm sure they'll have 2 lists. They'll have a list to stay in the Premier League and they'll have a list of the Championship so they can form a plan. And then we'll know from there. But at the moment, it's impossible to say who to go. And I think it's just a question of making sure we stay in this league first before we start looking at who's coming and who's going. There will be changes, of course, because I think you've got to evolve the squad to go for whatever league we're in, whether it be the Premier League or the Championship next season. But yeah, it's difficult to answer who to go out because I think these players have put so much shit for the last 4 years since Bielsa came and obviously Jesse Marsh came. So it's quite difficult to tell. I'm probably going to sit on the fence with that one and get splinters up my ass because
nothing new there, so
to say because I think the players have given so much over the last 4 seasons. So I'm sure there will be changes in the summer, but I can't really answer who to come in and who to go out at this moment in time.
On to a totally different note, but still the Arsenal Leeds game related. How do you think the ref did today?
I don't think he had a hard game. I think the only thing he got wrong was giving Luke a yellow card originally when, look, we saw it. It was dangerous, wasn't it? I think he knows that. And I think he's apologised to the players in the dressing room. I think it's probably born out of frustration as well. When you're 2-0 down away from home, things are going against you. I can't really have a go at Chris Cavanagh. He could have sent Rafinha off as well when Raf was protesting over Luke's red card. So, yeah, I thought he had an okay game. Nothing spectacular. Didn't miss much, to be really honest with you. And sometimes if you don't see a referee, you did nothing wrong. I thought it was quite an easy game to officiate, to be honest with you, Karl.
No, but that's perfect. Like, that's a perfect analogy, because if you don't, if like we didn't mention the ref once in this whole 25 minutes that we've been on, and that's just testament to how little he did have to do today. And he let the game flow in parts, and he pulled up players whenever they needed pulling up. I thought there was a good incident there where, I don't know, was it Xhaka or Martinelli that was on the ground midway through the second half with cramp. He kind of shuffled himself back onto the pitch, and I like that the fourth official went down and go, "Here, look, you're taking the piss there now, man. I saw you do that. Like, just get off, like, you know what I mean?"
Yes.
It's nice to see officials actually putting the law into play sometimes.
Absolutely.
We have Shelley here. She's in again saying he's played 4-2-3-1. I'm assuming that's Jesse Marsh formation in the past, though. He said we shouldn't change too much for the end of the season, so should keep the winners in the formation, the wingers in the formation, though, for the next 3 games, I reckon. Yeah. I'd like to see us just really just get out wide. I think there's a lot. I think we're going to leave ourselves wide open to the likes of Reece James and them if we stay too narrow against Chelsea. I think that's where our downfall could be. We need to put as much pressure on their full-backs going forward as they're going to put on our wingers going forward, and it needs to be a lot of work. Like,
well, I hope I've given some optimism there, some positive vibes.
Well, I think so, Stats, and I think, look, like you said, it's still in our own hands. All we have to do is match what Burnley do and hope they slip up. I did see in one of the groups, WhatsApp groups I'm in, that one of the lads said that he didn't think after yesterday Burnley would pick up any more points. So it'll be interesting to see.
We've been down that route before, and I'm saying nothing. I'm saying nothing. We never expected Burnley to have clawed the way back. So
new manager bounce, though. Everyone has it, and it's gone for them now. It went for us against City. So
lots of twists and turns. It's not over yet.
No, it's definitely not over yet, and I think that there's definitely a lot to be done yet.
Yes.
Just to go in here, Dicko says Stats always, plus don't know how you do it.
Neither do I. But someone's got to.
We've been doing a pod with Stats for about a year and a half now, and we question that every time he's chatting, and it's it's not a bad thing. So
absolutely,
it's all right. It's nice to have someone with that kind of vibe on the pod.
That's right.
I know positive J Almighty there. Like, he's not exactly the most positive person, but he tries. He does try.
I don't think we're on Wednesday now. I think we've been replaced. I think they're going to do it straight after the game by the looks of things.
I think it might be Gilly and Luke that are doing it after the Chelsea game, as myself and yourself are at it, so we won't be back on time. So do tune in for that. I don't know. Has anyone else got anything that they might want to bring up? I think overall we're quite lucky that it was only 2-1 with 10 men.
Yeah.
I think we do have a lot we can build on if we get a result on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'd hope for the last 2 home games we'd try and get maximum points at least, but we'll
if we do, we're safe. Simple as that.
Yeah, get 2 wins there, we're absolutely laughing. But look, again, it's always nice to have you on, Stats, man.
Thank you very much.
And I think, was it yourself? You've got something important on now tonight, have you? Is it you're off in a match?
No, it's next Friday. I've just got prepared. I've got the Leeds United Women's Awards due.
Oh, very nice.
I need to prepare a script for it and get myself sorted for that one. So yes, and hopefully by then Leeds will have picked up 3 points against Chelsea on Wednesday night, because my God, they need them.
Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for joining us tonight, folks. It was a pleasure having you all here. Cheers, Stats, and I'm sure I'll see you at Ellen Road on Wednesday night, no doubt. All right, take care, everyone.